All right, perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this Zoom. Today, of course, is an MMP review, money making pyramid review. And today is actually a perfect day for the MMP week because today I did nothing at all. I didn't trade. To be fair, I didn't even do an analysis because when I looked at the dollar, I was a bit confused. And when that confusion came up, I just knew immediately, all right, perfect. This is likely a seek and destroy condition. So a seek and destroy condition for me are low probability conditions, and we are stuck between two PD rays, which means price is right now, as you can see on the dollar, it's going sideways. And this is not a great condition for me, for my model, for my own model to trade. So your model, maybe a seek and destroy model, might be great for this. But for me, my model is not great in this condition. And the first thing I noticed when I did anticipate a seek and destroy model, well, obviously we swept liquidity, major liquidity right here, this old low. Which we did anticipate. The next thing is we went up. All right, that's normal, that can happen, etc. Then the next thing, we anticipate price to go down here. And the next thing, we came into this fair value gap on the 4 hour, which we did anticipate as well, but nothing is following through. So even if we were wrong on the whole ID, and let's say price was to go higher, it's not following through going higher, it's not following through going lower. So where are we right now? We are on the dollar stuck between two PD rays, this breaker right here and this breaker right here. No liquidity in between. So what are we doing? We are generating new liquidity right here at 50% of this range. And that's seek and destroy conditions. And this is exactly the condition that I want to avoid. Now, of course, I did have in the back of my mind, once we swept this liquidity, we could maybe see seek and destroy conditions, but of course, it's not confirmed yet until we're in it. And right now, I think we are in it. We are in seek and destroy conditions on the dollar for sure. Now, the next thing we do is we wait for some kind of displacement on the higher time frame with a new indication where price wants to trade to. So a new institutional sponsorship. So maybe the lows, some kind of fair value gap left behind, retracement, and then continuation, or maybe on the highs. Who knows? I'm not sure where it wants to go next right now, and that's why it's low probability. So if we take a look at the 15-minute, and I normally don't take a look, but this is exactly what seek and destroy conditions are. You see, we are leaving behind equal lows, we are sweeping and not even taking out this high, then just dropping, taking out equal lows here, and not taking out these, and then retracing. These are seek and destroy conditions, and seek and destroy conditions are there to create new sentiment, to create new liquidity, to entice retail into the market, and then take out one side and then drop to the other. That's it. And that's what seek and destroy conditions are essentially for, because as you can see here, there is no new liquidity in this leg. We just took out major liquidity. We need new liquidity. And that's basically the point. But on these days and on these weeks, because we talked about it, news-wise, this week was amazing and maybe even too good to be true. So news-wise, it was amazing. But again, the price action, so far, we had a great day on Tuesday, but so far the price action has a bit of disappointment, to be honest, but that's okay, that's normal. And the next thing for you is you need to acknowledge this. And I see a lot of people on Twitter, on Instagram, I get a lot of messages on DM, not necessarily from people in the mentorship, but from outside of the mentorship, that in these kind of conditions, they are going to start doubting themselves. They are going to start doubting themselves. They are going to tell themselves, I don't know enough. And that's the most dangerous thing you can do. Because then, like we talked about, the shiny object syndrome, then you will start seeking for this next best thing. You were right here. And when a week like this comes, your learning curve, you start looking at something new, you think you don't have the answers, etc. Boom, you start all the way at 0 and maybe even below that. And then you start again, and a new week like this comes, seek and destroy, because it's going to happen another time in the future. 100% guaranteed, it's going to happen another time. And you're going to look for another solution to it. Boom, you start back at 0 again. So these conditions, you have to recognize them, and recognizing them, of course, might be a little bit difficult in the beginning. I recognized it today in the morning, and that's why I didn't post any analysis. And that's also part of trading, because if I'm constantly feeding you with analysis and thinking, or make you think that there's an opportunity every day, then I'm completely and blatantly lying to you. There is not a great opportunity every day. Now, for you, for your model, there might be an opportunity every day. There is not a great opportunity every day, though. That's a guarantee. So there is not a great opportunity every day. And for this, conditions like this, you just have to wait. Just have to wait. Just wait until it's over, until you get the displacement again, until you see institutional sponsorship again, until you see the respect of premium and discount arrays again. So for example here, we are not displacing away from premium or discount arrays. We are not respecting anything. There's no accuracy at all. It's just going sideways at 50% of this range. So that's something to acknowledge. And then the next thing, as well as the homework I gave, was, because I know there's probably and some people don't tell me, or there's probably a lot of people that were struggling with price action today. And that's completely normal, because it is seek and destroy conditions. So that's completely normal. But it is very important to recognize that it isn't you, it isn't your model. Your model is perfectly fine. You are perfectly fine. It's just that these conditions happen, and you just need to wait them out. So you need to recognize that you're not going to start over trading. You're not going to go into lower timeframes and force anything, or force anything that's outside of your plan, or maybe look at another system, or maybe even look at someone on Twitter or Instagram that did catch a trade. And now you're asking him, how did you catch a trade? Can you teach me, etc.? That's very dangerous behavior, and that's something to recognize. So for example, for today, you saw nothing clear on the high time frame. What is it that you do? You don't move on to the execution phase. Now, some people will have went into the lower time frame and start forcing any trade here. And that's not in their plan. And that's so super dangerous. And that's on days like these or weeks like these, you will blow your account and you will blow your entire progress. You might have caught this entire move, and your total profit, your total progress is gone within 1 day. And that's the reality of trading, unfortunately. Your profits can be gone just like a finger snap. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. And that's why we have to be top-notch in our psychology, top-notch on recognizing these things, and top-notch in just accepting the fact that there's not going to be a great opportunity every day, and there is going to be conditions like this. Now, of course, this takes time, because I can tell you, of course, you have to wait, you have to be patient. There's not going to be a great opportunity every day. Conditions like this are normal. You don't have to trade these conditions. But until you actually believe it, you won't probably really stick to it. So what do I mean by this? Of course, when you say it for the first time to yourself, it's okay to wait, it's okay to be patient, etc., you're still going to feel that urge to trade. It's normal, because you're not fully believing it. You're not fully convinced until you maybe blow an account or etc. That's when you're fully convinced. And now you see the pain, etc. So that will take time. But if you do tell yourself over and over and over again, when you recognize this, tell yourself over and over again, this is normal, we don't have to trade every day, etc. And inject some logic, so you're breaking the pattern, you are breaking the momentum. And when you truly start to believe that logic, that's when everything gets better. And the next time you see these conditions, it will be automatically. Because I had to assess this in the Discord as well. Because for me, this was totally normal. And then I thought, oh shit, maybe some people are really struggling with this right now. I need to assess this. This is very important. But for me, it was very normal, and it was almost automatic behavior to just stay out, to just wait. But for some people, they might have been like, I need to trade, etc. And that's completely normal. But again, this will become automatic if you just stay consistent and stay consistent with your system as well. So don't start changing your system or don't start looking for trades on this day. So for example, if I go take a look at the DAX, there was a trade actually here, but because these conditions are here on the dollar, I won't go into the lower time frame to start looking at a possible entry opportunity. I just won't because the conditions are not in my favor. And if I do start to do that, I will build unhealthy habits. And next time I see these conditions, I will just not even care and I will still trade them. And that's not the point. We need to know when to trade. That's the most important step in your trading. When you know when to trade, so having your low probability conditions, having your high probability conditions, if you can recognize those, you will have set a major step in the right direction. That's very important because everyone can trade every day and everyone can make a good justification for a trade every day. But nobody, or not nobody, but very little people can filter out the bad days where the trade still potentially happens, but the probabilities are not in your favor. And that's very important. And that's what will excel your trading, your win rate, etc. That's very important. All right, so I just wanted to talk about that. I won't go into the things. Of course, we went over the price action on the dollar right here. That is just in seek and destroy right here. That's all we need to know. We don't need to know more. So don't force anything. So sometimes, again, like I said on Twitter or Instagram, I get DMs asking me what happened on this day, why did it happen, this, how can I catch this move, how can I catch this, and that happens every day to me. And every day I get the question, how can I catch this move? And this belief that you need to catch a move every day to make money or to make lots of money. Of course, it's a normal behavior. It's a normal belief because if you're going to work, you are a normal job. You are essentially making money every day. But in trading, it's just not the case. It's just not the case. It's the complete opposite. Here we are doing less to make more. And waiting and being patient is most likely where you will fuck up. So if you just stay in control when you are waiting, then the great opportunities will come. So that's about the price action right now. So again, like I said, this is natural to me, but for you, it might still be an obstacle. So for me, it was automatic behavior that I didn't engage, etc. So that's why I wanted to assess it. Then the next thing is a routine. A routine, my daily routine. This was actually a suggestion, a great suggestion by Len in the Discord, and he asked if I could give a routine of my day or of my exact day, how my day looks like, and my breakfast, etc., etc. I think you get the idea. So the first thing that I want to assess is a day as a trader. And like we said, because the brain capacity, brain points, etc., a day as a trader has to be pretty boring. It's a pretty boring day. It's just you're doing the same stuff over and over and over. And of course, in the weekends, etc., you go do your stuff. But to keep our brain in check, we have to have a pretty boring life. If you are managing hundreds and thousands of dollars, if you have a very exciting lifestyle where emotions are up, down, up, down, up, down, then that $100,000 is going to absolutely mess with your brain. So having this boring lifestyle, and of course it's not boring, but I think you get the idea. It's very structured in a way, and that's very important. Just step by step, just like we are trading, step by step process, and then after we're done, we can enjoy something. We can go out for a drink, etc. Go out with friends and do your thing. Then the first thing I do is because this is very important, and especially if you are going full-time trading, this is very important. So listen up. If you are if your goal is to go full-time trading, this is very important. What I've gone through is if I don't plan my day ahead, so the evening before tomorrow, so this evening right now, I will plan my tomorrow. I will plan the next day. And this is very essential to do, because if I don't plan my next day, I will be completely clueless. I will be all over the place, and I will likely just binge watch Netflix or watch YouTube videos because I have no clue what I'm supposed to do. And that's because I don't have a boss to tell me what I should do. And that's very difficult in the beginning because you have no external factor that's telling you do this, do this, do this. And then suddenly after 21 years of working for a boss, I have to tell myself what I'm supposed to do on a day. And that's very difficult. So you have to plan your day. And most preferably is planning your day just before you get to your bed, and then just go to your bed, wake up, and you have a full schedule of what you're going to do, of what you're going to work on. So that leads me to my schedule. What I do on a daily basis, I wake up at 7 a.m. and that's 7 a.m. Amsterdam time. So 7 a.m. in the morning for me. Then I take a cold shower. I do my bathroom routine, etc. No food, no social media before I get into trading. Now, no food, of course, this is all my preference. And again, this is the same as trading. This is very personality based. So this is what works for me. It might not work for you, but this is what works for me. So no food, no particular reason why no food. It's just I don't feel hungry in the morning, and that's it. I've never felt hungry in the morning. Even as a child, I've always struggled with eating in the morning, so I just don't eat. Simple as that. No social media is very important to keep my psychology in check. So if I do already see other traders, they've made their money, etc., then this will likely going to upset me. This will throw off my psychology. Or if I see some news in the world that happened, or something very emotionally happened to me or my family, then I will get emotional, of course, and my emotions and my brain capacity will already be drained before I even start get into trading. So that's very important. Now, the cold shower is just to wake me up, sort of. So it's just a quick refresher. Then the next thing, so this is 7 a.m. At 8 a.m. my time starts a London session. So I have 1 hour to prepare, etc. So ahead of London, I do my psychology. So psychology is just a quick check. Did I sleep all right? Now, of course, within a few minutes of waking up, I can already tell if I slept all right, etc. But I still check it. I still do some checkups. And again, this is also in your trading dashboard. There is a little section on the homepage. There's your trading dashboard. Then there's at the top right, psychology plan. And in that is a little sector before trading. So that's essentially what I use just to check my psychology, etc. And then the next thing is obviously analysis. So my analysis, I go over the day. First thing is psychology. That's checked off. All right, perfect. First thing. Next thing is higher time frame analyst phase. Is that checked off? Yes, on today. For today, for example, no, it's not checked off. All right. So what am I going to do next? All the things that I planned yesterday. So all the things that I planned yesterday, I'm going to do earlier because I'm likely not going to trade. So that's why you'll see me be active in the Discord sometimes earlier than expected. So yeah, then the next thing is obviously trade London. If we do get to that higher time frame analyst stage, and if we do get a trade set up, then I'm going to trade London. So that's until 11 a.m. for me. Then after London, I do a London after markup, plus I journal my psychology. So I take a pen and paper that's right here, right next to me, and I write down my thoughts, I write down my emotions, and of course, this is also during London. So also during London, I write down what I'm thinking, etc., just to get a clear picture of my thoughts, and if I'm messing up somewhere, or if there's a pattern, a bad emotional pattern that's most likely going to happen. So that's what I do. A London after markup is just a quick markup, as I showed you as well, right here on the DAX, for example. It's where I copy everything into my end of day markup and just do some annotations, etc. Then next thing for me is gym. I go to the gym just to clear my mind, just to reset my brain points, essentially, just to have some clarity of mind again, or get every frustration out of me, etc. And then after the gym, it's probably about 1 or 12 a.m. And then I eat, obviously. Now, my food is I have a very strict diet, and my diet contains of 90% meat. So it's basically a carnivore diet. What I follow, I feel like I've tried every diet in the world. So I've been vegan, I've done everything basically, and carnivore diet is what suits me the best. And of course, this is all your personality and what suits you. If you're better off being a vegan, then go vegan for sure. But this is what suits me. So I'm fully carnivore. I only eat meat essentially. And next to that, I sometimes, some days, I have a little bit of fruit, etc. But I mostly eat meat. And again, if you're willing to do this, then please do your own research and don't just jump into it. But yeah, that's what gives me the best mental clarity. That's what helps me sleep better. And that's also what cured a lot of things for me. So yeah, then the next thing I do after eating is a cold bath. So I have a little pond in my backyard, and I either jump in that and then go in the shower, or I just go in the shower if I don't have very much time. And then after the shower, etc., I do, of course, I do now in the, afternoon, I do my creative tasks. So from around 2 a.m., I start looking at the Discord. I start doing my creative tasks. So in the morning, I like to wake up and essentially get over it with trading. So, and this is why I love London, because I just wake up, I get over it, and I just do the hard work in the morning, essentially, and then I'm done with it. So all the loaded things, all the emotionally heavy things are in the morning for me. So that's perfect for me. I absolutely love that. And that's also if you're from America or another time zone, then New York will be in the morning for you, and you might like New York because of that as well. Now, the reason I like that is because I think you can all relate, or it might be a little bit relatable. If you have an appointment later in the day, it's like you're waiting the whole day to get over with that appointment, and then your day can start. At least that's what I always have. If I do have an important appointment with someone or with a company, then I'm essentially waiting the whole day to get to that appointment, and then my day starts. And then I can do what I want, essentially. So that's what I feel like as well with trading. And when I traded New York, I was basically waiting the whole day to get to the trading stage. And then after my day was done and ahead of my day or ahead of my trading session in New York, I essentially did nothing. I was just useless, basically. So that's why I love to trade London. I absolutely love it. I couldn't move to America because I just couldn't trade London. Of course, then my London will essentially be New York because the time zones are different. So that might make up for it. But yeah, that's the exact reason why I love trading London, because I can just get over it, get over with it, trading, just get it out of the way essentially, and just move on. So then the next thing, like I talked about, after trading in essentially New York session, for me is a creative task. So I go into Discord, I work on my social media, etc. Do something that requires a lot of thinking, a lot of creative stuff, and that's what I love to do. And essentially, all the tasks that I do in the afternoon, that I do in the evening, are planned ahead of the day. So I planned them essentially yesterday, and yesterday will tell me what I'm going to do this afternoon and this evening. And then the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. So, for example, for today, I need to work on the next enrollment because I need to make some new intro videos. So I have planned for myself that this evening I need to make a video, for example. And I just have this task list as well on pen and paper. And if I do think of something whilst I'm in bed, I have my journal right next to me with pen and paper, and I can just really quick write it down. This also helps me sleep better. Otherwise, I will be in bed and I will be constantly thinking, because my greatest ideas for some reason happen when I'm almost sleeping. But when I do recognize this happening, then I can write it down real quick and I don't have to think about it anymore. Essentially, it's out of my head. And that's very important, because otherwise you will be sleeping and half sleeping because you still want to remember that thing you thought of, and you still want to remember it when you're waking up, and you essentially was just not even sleeping, you were just thinking about that thing the whole night. So that's very important to do as well, and a great recommendation. Then as well, before I go to bed, I read a little bit. I do some meditation as well. Normally, I do my meditation right after the London session as well, before I head to the gym, or I do it in the evening just before I read. I do like to do some breathing exercises as well. So you might know Wim Hof. I'd like to do some breathing exercises with my meditation, etc., just to get my mind cleared, etc. And yeah, just to take care of my whole body. And that's very important because we talked about the foundation, etc. Foundations are very important because the foundations allows us to build. They allow us to build up on them. And then essentially I do the same for the weekend. So weekends is it sounds kind of sad right now, but yeah, it's the same thing. And of course that will change if I do get more time, etc. Of course I will do some fun stuff, but right now I just want to sacrifice, because without sacrifice there is no victory. Like without rain there are no beautiful flowers, essentially. And that's very important for me. I just have always thought I need to sacrifice something, of course not willingly, but if I do want to reach a level in trading and in my career, then I need to sacrifice something. I can't be a normal student, well, essentially a normal student here in the Netherlands, goes out to drink, goes out to party every night, and then I just can't do that. Of course, this is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I love to make this sacrifice, and I don't mind at all. And of course, sometimes it's a little bit sad to see your friends go out, etc. But it is what it is, and that sacrifice needs to be made in order for us to make it. So there needs to be some kind of sacrifice, and that's basically what I do. That's my routine, and then it repeats over and over and over again. Now for the weekends, I maybe look at some Bitcoin, for example. So I replace everything here. So normally I would trade DAX during the week. Then on the weekends, I trade Bitcoin. Or when I'm free on Friday morning, on the London session, for example, I already determined I'm not going to trade on Friday, for example, or not going to trade on Monday. Then I tend to go to the barber, etc., or do something else, just do some fun stuff. But yeah, that's basically it right now. That's my whole routine. So that foundation helps me a lot to keep my psychology in check, to keep everything in check, to check everything off ahead of the day, get the trading out of the way. It's the first hard thing I do in the day, basically very structured. And having this structured ID, that allows me to keep going as well, and allows me to see progress, because if you don't have any structure in your life, then it's going to be very tough to actually get things done, essentially. And that's what helped me the most, I think, because I used to be not structured at all, and I was just all over the place during the day, and that led me to nothing. And once I got structured, etc., once I made my day almost very boring, that's when I excelled, essentially. All right, so let's go over the things we can expect for tomorrow as well. Just some forecasts, some outlooks, and then we are done right here. We are almost 30 minutes. That's beautiful. That's very time efficient, I think, because I think after around 30 minutes, it's been proven as well that you don't pick up on the information as good as anymore. So let's just round it up here real quick. Now, we did expect the bonds to go lower into this fair value gap. As you can see, the dollar is just consolidating right here. Now, if the bonds reach this fair value gap and we see a rejection away, or even a rejection after sweeping these equal lows right here, we could potentially see the dollar just drop off immediately. So dollar could be held in a consolidation until the bonds reach these equal lows or this fair value gap. Now, of course, this is all speculation. This is all me essentially guessing what's going to happen. And this is because there's no clear high time frame analyst for me right now. So I am just waiting. I am just making up scenarios, but I'm not executing on it. And that's very important. You can make up these scenarios of things that will likely happen, but if your conditions aren't there, then don't execute on it. That's the most important part. Don't go on to that execution phase. That's very important. Because if you will, then you will have made up a story that makes absolute sense to you, because this story now makes absolute sense to me. And then I will probably try to short the bonds and it will go all wrong, and I will overtrade, will revenge trade, and I will lose all my money. So yeah, that's how it goes essentially. So the yields moving higher as well. Yields just very, very, very ugly price action ever since it just consolidated right here and didn't follow through on these lows. Very ugly. Dollar, like we talked about, consolidating right now at 50% of this range. And it's just waiting on new price action. Do we get this price action, new price action tomorrow? I'm not sure, because the week doesn't have major news events. Tomorrow we do have unemployment claims, so hopefully it does something. But again, sometimes consolidations like these require an NFP, a CPI, or FOMC to break out of it. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So for example, right here, you also see a consolidation. And I think this, what was it, Tuesday? What's that, CPI? I'm not sure. Some kind of news event possibly is behind this spike, and then we break out of it. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Nothing to do about it. And this is the reality of trading as well. And as you can see, we have consolidations here, but if we can manage to catch these moves, these in-between moves, then we are going to be all right. We forecasted basically this whole move. So if it's consolidating right now, we made already our profit right here. We don't have to worry about anything. We are set. We are absolutely set. So ES, yeah, this is the effect of dollar just consolidating. ES just very, very, very ugly price action right now. Yeah, I personally wouldn't see anything. I see this ST, but again, if I don't have a clue on the dollar, then that's decoupled, kind of decoupled, and I can't get to a clear draw on liquidity. That means I have 50-50 bias. If I have a 50-50 bias, I'm just simply not engaging in price because I don't have that confidence of the higher time frame analysis, and I need that confidence. That's the most essential thing. I need that higher time frame analysis confidence. If I have that confidence of the higher time frame analysis, that execution becomes so easy. All right. Nasdaq. The Nasdaq. Yeah, this breaker right here. This low sweep, it could essentially go higher. It could reject here off of this 4 hour. I'm not too sure right now. Dow again, very ugly, just ugly price action. DAX is now, if you only looked at DAX, it was actually pretty clean right here. It's now following through. Again, we are very high up for DAX, but again, that means nothing if we don't get a market structure shift or an ST to the downside. So just because we're high up doesn't essentially mean anything, but it's something to take into account. I don't like to trade after 3 big up candles on the daily. So for example, here we get an up candle here. This day, I would be a bit suspicious of another rally higher in London. We could see a rally higher later in the day, but in London, it would not be high probability for me. Euro GBP, big consolidation. Just going to skip that. Yeah, this is also the effect of dollar. As you can see, we expected higher prices right here. It's just not following through right now. It's just stuck. And that's very unfortunate because we saw this fair value gap. We saw this ST in the making. We did have this move, and the consolidation actually started in New York yesterday, right here, when we essentially forecasted entry in the Discord. Then it just started consolidating, and now it's just all over the place. And this is perfect seek and destroy conditions. And some people will excel in these kind of conditions because their model works very well in seek and destroy conditions. For example, a lot of models that are only the 2022 model of ICT, and that's just, for example, liquidity taken out, 2022 model right here, enter. Liquidity taken out, 2022 model right here, enter. And some models will work great, but if your model does not work great in these conditions, then that's perfectly fine. And as well, don't try to add another model. So if you have a trending model, I would essentially call my model as well a trending model, mainly a trending model, and not a seek and destroy model, then I won't be looking to add a seek and destroy model, because that will confuse me. Two models are not better than one. You will probably make more profit and your win rate will be way higher if you just stick to that one trending model and don't go looking at that seek and destroy model. Same goes if you're only a seek and destroy trader, then don't go look at a trending model. All right. For GU essentially the same thing. GU is a little bit higher right now, higher than EU. Very ugly price action right here. It's absolutely, it's almost horrifying. It's almost scary to look at. It's very, very, very ugly. And you can see right now, it's just when price trade, it takes a high, it's just not following through. It's not following through on anything. For example, this low right here is not following through lower, it's not following through higher. It's failing to displace, and this is all done to create new liquidity, to create new sentiment. And a lot of people and breakout traders will try to trade this, and it will retrace immediately to the lows, and all stop losses will get taken. So if you're a breakout trader and you will long right here, your stop loss will be here. Stop loss gets taken. Short traders, short breakout traders will short right here. Stop loss is here. Stop loss gets taken, and the cycle continues until there's new liquidity, enough liquidity in the market to move a new way, or to have a new direction, essentially. So USD cut as well. Yesterday we had an entry, of course, it was a loss, and here we are coming into this order block. So USD cut, I would say it's all right now. I would still expect lower prices right here from this order block. I wouldn't want to see this high go, and ideally this mean threshold get respected, so not disrespected, and this fair value gap as well. So if you could get something like a 15-minute ST to the downside right here, that would be ideal. All right, then on AU, again, consolidation. This is also the work of the dollar consolidating, seek and destroy conditions. Not something you want to be involved in if you are a trend trader, of course. So yeah, not something you want to be involved in at all. USD JPY. This is actually, oh, this is fun. It did play out. We had this order block marked plus this daily order block right here. We did see a move higher, came into this 4-hour fair value gap. All right, this is all right. This is doable. Then let's see if this gave some sort of clean entry. Ooh, entry for me, entry right here would have been most likely way too high, because the ST is right here. Here's your ST, the SIBI, the BISI, entry right here. This is the first respect, essentially. And then entry would have been right here. No, that wouldn't have been an entry for me. Definitely not. But again, that's the characteristic of USD JPY, maybe. I don't know. I don't trade USD JPY, so GBP cut. Again, I was expecting lower prices right here. It's just disrespecting everything right now. I am possibly expecting this trend line liquidity to go right here and for it to continue higher. I also saw the weekly, we are coming off of this breaker, and we did not fill in this fair value gap, but that's okay. We did come into the breaker, which is holding price up. It's essentially that support that's preventing price to come into this fair value gap. So we could see a run right now on these highs and continue higher. So something along the lines of this. Perfect. And of course, we could see a fair value gap form right here on the daily, and then a retracement into the fair value gap, and then a continuation higher. That's something I would most likely expect right now, because it's disrespecting everything, and we came off a discount array and we have liquidity right here. Bitcoin just dropping right now. It's not heading to the monthly SIBI right now currently, but maybe we are in for some kind of a bit of a deeper retracement. Who knows? We could still go higher right here. Ideally, if we do want to go higher, this is of course a great support area, which we are now disrespecting, but overtaken up candles on the left side are great support areas. So essentially, if we do come below this level right here, we could maybe see lower prices. So something like this, for example, is something we could potentially see. Then Ethereum. Ethereum is done basically the same. Ethereum, we are already in this SIBI, in this monthly SIBI. Then weekly is nothing really clear, although we do have this mitigation block right here. So we could see higher price off of that. If there's a daily nested fair value gap in that, that would be very clean. Somewhat an order block as well right here. So if Ethereum wants to go higher, it would do something like this. Now, if it wants to go lower, it will likely leave this ST right here because this has created almost an ST. Then this day will close, next day will close, and then on Friday it might trade back into the ST and then continue lower if it does want to continue lower. So that's about it. And that was it for this Zoom. I hope you did get some knowledge off of it. I hope it was insightful. If you do have any questions, then please do let me know in the Discord. And I'll see everyone tomorrow at the next one. And I hope to do more live sessions as well in London. I saw people like them as well. So that's great. That's something to do more often in the future as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my stories. And I'll see you at the next one. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great day.